Little Shop Stories. So, did you go to Disney when you were writing the Kingdom Keepers books?
Many times. One of the really fun things about writing these books is that Disney has let me backstage when the parks are closed. So I've probably gone 15 or 20 times when the park is closed and gone into the attractions when they're shut down and only under emergency lights and walked around them and taken notes, and it's really fun.
So which series do you like better? The Kingdom Keepers books or the Peters and the Starcatchers?
Do you have a mom and dad?
Yes.
Which do you like better?
I don't know.
I don't either. It's too hard to answer that, isn't it? I'm never answering that.
Okay. So why did you start writing the Kingdom Keepers books?
You know, I walked into the park with my family one day. I didn't visit the park until I was quite a bit older than you, only by about 40 years. And we spent the day in the park and the fireworks went off and we were leaving with everybody, you know, like 60,000 people leave at the same time. And none of the characters we had seen came out with us. And I had this Toy Story moment where it felt like Andy's room to me, like what happens in here with these characters when we all leave, because Minnie, Mickey, Goofy, everybody was still in there, including all the Disney villains. And I thought, wow, there's a whole world that for the next 12 hours is happening in here while I'm asleep in my hotel room getting ready to come back the next morning. So that's what the books are about, is what happens inside Disney World after dark. And you know, I think most people I've spoken to, I was going to say everyone, but most people I've spoken to have fantasized about kind of sneaking over the wall late at night, running around Disneyland or Disney World. So this kind of lets you do it through my eyes.
So what is your favorite Disney ride?
Do you have a mom and dad? What is your favorite Disney ride?
I have 3.
Okay, give them to me. I'll give you 3.
Space Mountain, Thunder Mountain Railroad, and Splash Mountain.
Well, you wouldn't catch me dead on Space Mountain. I'm a scaredy cat even on Thunder Mountain Railroad, although I've been on it probably 15 times. And I love Splash Mountain. But I also love Soarin'.
Oh yeah, that one's fun.
Oh yeah, I like Test Track.
Oh yeah, we just tried that one.
I like things like Peter Pan's Flight. I even like Small World.
Yeah, my dad doesn't like it.
Well, but he doesn't have to go on it. I can. You can. And thousands of other people can. So, I mean, there's almost nothing I don't like, but I'm not a big one for getting stirred around. I once was researching the second Kingdom Keepers book, so I was in Animal Kingdom. There's this ginormous mountain there called Expedition Everest.
Love that ride.
Oh my gosh, see, we are just absolute opposites. So I walked it for 2 hours with the people that designed it and built it, and it was shut down. And then they said, okay, now we're going to turn it on, and you're going to ride it. And I said, oh, I don't do those. Only Allison does those. And they said, well, we got up early in the morning, you're going to ride our ride. So they put me on a loan in the thing, and it went 18 bazillion miles an hour, and I walked around like a sailor for the rest of the day.
So who's your favorite Kingdom Keeper?
You're getting into favorites again. I can tell you who the 5 Kingdom Keepers are. The Kingdom Keepers are a guy named Finn and a guy named Philby. And Philby has a little bit of a British accent. And Philby also is a good climber. He's a rock climber. And he's also a bit of a techie, as is Maybeck. And Terry Maybeck is an African-American kid, just like a guy who was my roommate when I was in high school. I went to a boarding school. And all the girls liked him a lot. That really upset me. And Maybeck is also a very good artist. And my mother is a really, really good artist. So I always watched my mother be an artist, and that was fun. And Terry has an aunt, kind of like my mother. He calls her Aunt Jelly. And then there's a really cute kind of cheerleading blonde girl named Charlene, who's a lot like my older daughter Paige, who's a really cute blonde girl. And then there's a girl, Willa, who's very, very smart, and maybe not quite as popular in the school as some of the others, but still a really cool kid. I like Willa a lot. So those are the 5, but I would never pick a favorite because the other ones might hurt me. You probably don't think they're real kids, but they're real kids.
Okay.
Up here, they're real kids.
Okay. So, like, what kind of, like, when you went into the kind of secret backstage rooms,
Yes.
What did you kind of like find in there?
There is so much to find. A lot of it I'm not allowed to talk about, but I
Okay.
still write about a lot of it, and some of it I am. For instance, did you know that the Magic Kingdom in Disney World was built on swamp? And let me just put up your leg here so people can see. You're wearing boots. You would have had to wear these boots if they had built the Magic Kingdom where it was. But not everybody has boots, as it turns out, in Florida. So they raised the Magic Kingdom about 25 feet above where it could have been built. And in doing that, they decided they would put tunnels under it because they were building this 25-foot earthen berm anyway. So the entire Magic Kingdom has 1.5 miles of tunnels underneath it. And it's wide enough for 2 lanes of golf carts to go back and forth. And they carry the cotton candy and the blue jeans and the CDs and all of that stuff. And they let me down in there, they being Disney. And it's called the Utilidor. And it's enormous under there. There is a costume shop because everybody who works in the Magic Kingdom wears a costume. Even if it looks like normal clothes, it's still a costume. And there are 2.2 million pieces of costume in this costume room. So it's rather big. There's a beauty shop that they can deal with makeup and wigs for 20 people at a time in their beauty shop. There's what's called a server farm, which is all the computer servers that run all the attractions in the park. So that fascinated the Philby side of me because I thought, ooh, we can run the attractions from down under the park. And there were these giant pipes, like 4 feet across. And I finally got up the nerve to ask my guide, why would they need a pipe so big? And he told me that's how they got rid of the trash in the Magic Kingdom. They suck it out of the park. You drop a trash bag into this big hatch in areas that customers aren't allowed, and it goes, and it gets swallowed and sucked out of the park and spit into this giant compactor, and then it's hauled out on trucks when it's made into these cubes. So I was sitting there. I always carry with me a writer's notebook. So I'm not being rude here. I'm actually getting out my writer's notebook. And I carry a little writer's notebook with me. And in my writer's notebook, I wrote trash bag kid. And then I realized, hey, if Allison does a cannonball into this system, she would get sucked out and spit into the trash compactor. So by the end of the first Kingdom Keepers, the kids are doing cannonballs into the trash system. So it's stuff like that you see that otherwise you would never see. I've had some scary confrontations with Maleficent because I'm a bit afraid of Maleficent because I write about her. She's one of the most evil of all the Disney villains, and every now and then I'm wandering around backstage and Maleficent just appears. And she gives me the creeps, so I head the other direction. And I write about that some in the book, where Finn will turn a corner in like the veterinary hospital in the second book, in Animal Kingdom, and there's Maleficent. And that's from times that's happened to me. Now, I don't know if that's people playing tricks on me, or if that's Maleficent out to get me, but she still scares me.
So, do you like either, which one do you think is the most?
You're trying to get away from the word favorite. That's good. That's using your vocabulary. Go ahead again.
So,
Which
villain?
one? Oh, which villain?
Which villain scares you the most? Maleficent, Chinnabog, or
You can stop right there.
Okay.
Chernabog.
Okay.
Chernabog is a character who appears first in a movie called Fantasia,
Yes.
and which is a very different movie because it has no words. It's just music and action. And one of the really exciting things about the Kingdom Keeper series for me is that the Disney characters for 50 years, 60 years, 75 years now have been really well defined. All but one. And who is the one? Chernabog. Chernabog was in this film because he is like the meanest of mean creatures. He's half minotaur, half bat god. And both of those, when you do research, I'm doing this now because of the books, I'm working on books 6 and 7, both bat gods in the Mayan culture and minotaurs were really crazy evil creatures, and the bat god used to eat people for sacrifice. So Chernabog is like the worst of the worst villains. He's worse than Maleficent. So he scares me. When Maleficent scares me, this guy terrifies me. And he's ugly to boot. Maleficent's, in her own way, kind of strangely attractive.
So where would Kingdom Keepers be going next? Like to Disneyland or
Do you know about the 5th book?
yeah?
What do you know about it?
They're on the cruise.
Why are they on the cruise ship? Do you know? I will tell you. They're on the cruise ship because Disney has moved the DHIs. The Kingdom Keepers are Disney Holograph Imaging or Daylight Holograph Imaging or Disney Hosts Interactive. And so they're Disney hosts, and they've now put 5 Disney hosts onto the cruise ship so that their holograms can go around and show people around the ship. And they are launching a brand new big cruise inaugural that goes through the brand new Panama Canal. The Panama Canal is something that is cut through Central America. Well, it was made a long time ago, and it's very narrow. And the big ships now, like the Disney Dream and the Disney Fantasy and a number of container ships, are too wide to get through it. So they have to go all the way around South America to get to California. So for the last 5 to 10 years, they've been digging a new Panama Canal, and it's going to open in like 2014. So in my story, I opened it a couple years earlier, and the Disney Dream is going through the Panama Canal. So they decided on that inaugural cruise, they would also have an inaugural cruise of the Kingdom Keepers. So in the book 5 and in book 6, the kids get on this ship as the sort of big celebrated, yippee, it's going to be a big DHI cruise, but the Overtakers get on there and all heck breaks out. Do you know where the Disney Cruise Line goes?
No, but I think it's to some kind of island.
Yeah, Disney bought their own island. Disney owns, not everybody can say I own an island, but Disney owns an island. So one of the first stops is called Castaway Cay, which is the Disney island. And in my novel, that's one of the first stops in the 6th book, the 5th book, I mean, and the 5th book starts in Typhoon Lagoon, which is this really exciting water park.
Been there.
Been there?
Yeah.
Who is the meanest, baddest, ugliest sea villain in Disney lore?
Ursula.
Ursula. So who shows up in Typhoon Lagoon at 2 in the morning when Finn's there?
I'm thinking Ursula.
And you are thinking right. And who's the coolest, oldest, godlike guy in those same marine lore Disney shows? Trident. So who shows up to save Finn? You could have written the book for me. But I do this thing because I like writing about real things so that you believe my books more. So the stuff that you read about in books 1, 2, 3, and 4, a lot of that I did, just like the Small World dolls coming alive and all of that, that all happened to me. And for the 5th book, I was going to set it on the cruise line because I needed to move the Kingdom Keepers somewhere. It might be in the West Coast where there is another Disney park, but I won't go into detail. And I said, you know, if I'm going to do that, you would have to give me access to your cruise ships. So they've let me backstage all over the cruise ships. There are, how are you at math? Pretty good at math?
Yeah, pretty good.
Well, there are 3,000 guests and 1,000 13,500 crew member and cast members. How many people are on the ship?
4,500.
4,500. How are you at multiplication?
Good.
Well, those 4,500 eat how many meals a day?
3, so,
Carry the one.
I know.
13,500. So the Disney Cruise Line makes 18,000 meals a day. Every day. Does your mom or dad cook for you?
Yes.
How many meals do they cook a day?
If I'm at home, 3 times. If I'm at school, 2 times.
So they're cooking like 6 meals a day. These guys cook 18,000 meals a day. So they let me into their kitchens, which are basically the size of football fields with about 18 billion people cooking full tilt around the clock. And they let me into their pantry. Do you have a pantry?
Yes.
Yes. Well, their pantry is one whole ship deck. And there are refrigerators you could park like 10 cars in, and freezers that you could park like 10 trucks in, and stacked food all over everywhere, all kept really clean and nice and everything. I mean, you can eat off the floor in these places. They have their own bakery. They have their own soup area. It is unbelievable. I got to go into the engine room, which was amazing because it's an electric boat. It's actually run by electricity, so they have to generate electricity. Their generators are big enough to power a city of 25,000 people. One generator, and they have 3 of them on the ship.
Wow.
So it was pretty cool, and I put all of that into the books.
Well, I think that's it.
Well, that's so it. Thank you, Allison. That was really fun.
I'm Allison Perrin with Nick Prohl.
Oh.
Sorry.
We'll cut that part out.
No, don't cut that out.
Yeah, cut it out.
Don't cut it out.
Cut it out.
Who did you think I was? Nick who?
Nick Prohl. I had
Nick
to
who?
read Nick Prohl.
Nick Brule. I'm actually Rick Riordan. No, I'm not. No, I'm Owen Colfer. No, I'm not. I'm Dave. No, I'm not Dave Barrett. This is Ridley Pearson and Allison saying, so long.
Bye.